Ladies and gentlemen, betrayal. It is one of the most painful experiences in life. It does not come from enemies. It comes from those you once trusted, those you believed would stand by your side. But why does it happen? Why do people whom you have given your love, time, and loyalty turn their backs on you? The truth is, betrayal is not about you. It is about them. People betray for many reasons: fear, greed, insecurity, selfishness, or simply because their priorities have changed. It is easy to believe that their betrayal defines your worth, but it does not. Their actions are a reflection of who they are, not of who you are. Betrayal is one of the most painful experiences a person can go through. It shakes the very foundation of trust, leaving behind wounds that take time to heal. But why does betrayal hurt so much? Because it often comes from those we least expect: friends, family members, loved ones, or people we once considered allies. The sting of betrayal is not just in the act itself, but in the realization that someone we trusted chose to break that trust. The truth is, betrayal is an inevitable part of life. No matter how kind, loyal, or genuine you are, there will always be people who betray you. It is not a reflection of your character, but rather an undeniable aspect of human nature. Some betray for personal gain, others out of fear or insecurity, and some simply because circumstances change. People's priorities shift, their emotions evolve, and sometimes their loyalty does not stand the test of time. One of the reasons betrayal is so difficult to handle is because it is deeply personal. It is a violation of the trust you placed in someone, an unspoken agreement that they would not harm you. When this trust is broken, it creates a sense of disbelief and confusion. You begin questioning everything. Was it something you did? Were there warning signs you ignored? Could you have prevented it? This self-doubt is what makes betrayal so damaging. It is not just the act itself, but the emotional aftermath that lingers. However, betrayal is not always driven by malice. Sometimes, people betray others out of weakness rather than cruelty. Fear can drive someone to act in ways they never thought possible. A person might betray a friend to secure their own safety, to avoid confrontation, or to gain approval from others. Some betray because they are incapable of maintaining loyalty when faced with temptation or pressure. Understanding this does not excuse the act, but it does provide insight into why people do what they do. In life, betrayal teaches us more about human nature than trust ever could. It reveals the unpredictability of relationships and the fragility of loyalty. This does not mean we should walk through life in constant suspicion, but it does mean we should be mindful of where we place our trust. Learning from betrayal helps us build stronger emotional resilience, teaching us to trust with wisdom rather than blind faith. The hardest but most important lesson is accepting that betrayal is beyond our control. You cannot stop someone from betraying you, but you can control how you respond to it. Will you let it break you? Will you allow it to make you bitter? Or will you use it as an opportunity to grow? The choice is always yours. Betrayal is painful, but it is also revealing. It removes the wrong people from your life and clears the way for those who truly value you. Instead of letting betrayal define you, let it refine you. Take the lesson, heal from the hurt, and move forward stronger than before. People change. This is a reality of life that we often struggle to accept, especially when it comes to those closest to us. We like to believe that the relationships we build, whether friendships, family bonds, or romantic connections, will remain constant, that loyalty is unshakable, and that those we care about will always have our best interests at heart. However, the truth is that human nature is complex, and people are driven by a variety of emotions, circumstances, and personal motivations that can lead them to act in ways we never expected. Betrayal is not always a sign of pure malice. More often than not, it stems from a person's own weaknesses, fears, or changing priorities. Someone who once valued loyalty may find themselves in a situation where betraying you seems like their only option. It could be out of self-preservation, a desire for personal gain, or even social pressure. Some people betray not because they hate you, but because they prioritize themselves over you. This does not justify their actions, but it does explain them. Understanding that people are not always who they present themselves to be is an important lesson in life. People evolve, and their values, goals, and relationships shift over time. Someone who once stood by your side may not feel the same obligation years later. Life circumstances change. Careers take different paths. New relationships form, and personal ambitions alter priorities. As a result, the loyalty they once had for you may fade, not because you did anything wrong, but because their focus has moved elsewhere. One of the hardest pills to swallow is that even those we love the most can hurt us. The pain of betrayal comes from expecting consistency in people who are, by nature, inconsistent. We often assume that just because we would never betray someone, they would never betray us. But not everyone operates by the same moral code. What seems unthinkable to you might seem reasonable or even necessary to someone else. Rather than becoming cynical and distrusting everyone, the key is to observe, not assume. Pay attention to how people behave, especially in difficult situations. Do they stand by their word, or do they shift their loyalties when it benefits them? Do they keep their promises, or do they only act in their best interest? Actions always reveal more than words. If you pay attention, you will see who is truly loyal and who is only there when it is convenient. At the end of the day, betrayal teaches us that trust should not be given blindly. It should be earned and maintained through consistent actions. This does not mean you should close yourself off from relationships, but rather that you should be mindful of where you place your trust. Accept that people change, but do not allow their changes to destroy your peace. Keep your heart open, but your mind aware. And remember that true loyalty is rare, but it does exist. One of the biggest reasons betrayal hurts so much is because of the expectations we place on people. We assume that those we trust will always act in our best interest, that friends will remain loyal, and that loved ones will never hurt us. However, the reality is that expectations often lead to disappointment. The higher our expectations, the greater the pain when they are not met. People are unpredictable. They have their own motives, fears, and desires, and sometimes these do not align with our expectations of them. We expect honesty, but get deception. We expect loyalty, but receive betrayal. We expect appreciation, but are met with indifference. The problem is not that people fail to meet our expectations, it is that we assume they will in the first place. When we form relationships, we unconsciously set standards for how people should behave. We assume that if we are kind, they will be kind in return. If we are loyal, they will be loyal too. But not everyone operates with the same values. Some people prioritize their own interests over loyalty. Others may not even realize how much their actions hurt us, and some simply change over time, no longer feeling the same obligations they once did. The harsh truth is that people do not betray you because of who you are. They betray you because of who they are. Their actions are a reflection of their choices, not a measure of your worth. But when we hold on to expectations, we take betrayal personally, as if it were a judgment of our value. In reality, it is often just a sign that we placed our trust in the wrong hands. The key to reducing the pain of betrayal is to lower our expectations of others. This does not mean losing faith in humanity or assuming the worst in people, but rather understanding that not everyone will act the way we hope they will. The less we expect, the less control others have over our emotions. If we stop expecting people to be perfect, their imperfections will not surprise us. If we stop assuming loyalty is guaranteed, we will be better prepared to handle disloyalty when it occurs. This is not about becoming cold or distant. It is about being realistic. Trust should not be given blindly. It should be earned through consistent actions. Instead of expecting people to never hurt you, observe how they treat others. Instead of assuming they will always be there for you, see how they act when you need them the most. Disappointment is often the result of misplaced expectations. When we learn to let go of the illusion that people will always meet our standards, we free ourselves from unnecessary pain. We cannot control how others act, but we can control how much power we give them over our emotions. Lower your expectations, raise your awareness, and remember that true peace comes from trusting yourself more than you trust anyone else. Betrayal is painful, but it is not the end of the world. It may feel like a loss, but in reality it is a lesson, one that can teach you more about life, people, and yourself than any act of loyalty ever could. The moment you shift your perspective from seeing betrayal as a devastating event to viewing it as a learning experience, you take back your power. Instead of letting it break you, you allow it to build you into someone wiser, stronger, and more resilient. When someone betrays you, the natural reaction is to dwell on the pain. You replay events in your mind, wondering where things went wrong. You question whether you could have prevented it, whether you missed warning signs, or if you were simply foolish to trust in the first place. But while reflecting on the situation can be useful, staying trapped in that cycle of pain only holds you back. The more time you spend analyzing why someone hurt you, the more control you give them over your emotions. The real power lies in learning from the betrayal and using it to better navigate future relationships. Every betrayal carries a lesson. Sometimes it teaches you to be more cautious about who you trust. Other times it shows you the importance of setting boundaries or recognizing red flags. It may even reveal things about yourself, your emotional strengths, your blind spots, or your tendency to see the best in people, even when they do not deserve it. Instead of focusing on the pain, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? The answer will help you grow in ways you never expected. One of the most valuable lessons betrayal teaches is the importance of self-reliance. The harsh truth is that people are unpredictable. Even those closest to you may change, and their priorities may shift. But when you learn to depend on yourself first, betrayal loses its power over you. When your happiness and stability are not tied to the actions of others, no betrayal can truly shake your foundation. Letting go is another crucial part of the lesson. Many people hold on to anger, resentment, or the desire for revenge after being betrayed, but carrying that weight only hurts you in the long run. Letting go does not mean forgiving or forgetting. It means releasing the emotional burden so it no longer controls your life. The sooner you stop dwelling on the betrayal, the sooner you can move forward. At its core, betrayal is a painful but necessary teacher. It forces you to grow, to reassess your relationships, and to become more aware of who deserves a place in your life. Do not see it as a loss. See it as an opportunity. The person who betrayed you may have thought they were breaking you, but in reality, they were helping shape a stronger, wiser version of you. Take the lesson, leave the pain behind, and move forward with confidence. Letting go of someone who has betrayed you is one of the hardest but most necessary steps toward healing. When someone breaks your trust, it is natural to feel anger, resentment, and a desire for justice. You might replay the betrayal over and over, wondering how someone you trusted could hurt you. You might even hold on to the pain as a way of reminding yourself never to let it happen again. But the truth is, the longer you hold on to resentment, the more you allow the betrayer to control your emotions and your life. Letting go is not about excusing their actions or pretending that the betrayal did not hurt. It is about freeing yourself from the burden of negativity. When you dwell on the betrayal, you keep yourself stuck in the past. You give power to the very person who hurt you, allowing them to influence your thoughts, emotions, and even your future relationships. But when you choose to let go, you reclaim your peace. They think that by holding on to anger, they are somehow punishing the person who hurt them. But in reality, the only person suffering is the one holding on to the pain. The betrayer has likely moved on, living their life without giving much thought to what they did. Meanwhile, you remain trapped in a cycle of resentment. The key to letting go is understanding that forgiveness is not for them, it is for you. Forgiveness does not mean you have to allow them back into your life. It does not mean you have to forget what they did. It simply means that you refuse to let their actions dictate your emotions any longer. Forgiveness is a way of saying, I choose my peace over my pain. One powerful way to let go is by shifting your focus. Instead of asking, why did they do this to me? Ask, what can I learn from this? Every betrayal carries a lesson, whether it is about trusting too easily, ignoring red flags, or expecting loyalty from the wrong people. When you see betrayal as a lesson rather than a loss, you take away its power to hurt you. Another important step is setting boundaries. Letting go does not mean giving the person another chance to hurt you. It means understanding that some people do not deserve a place in your life. If someone has betrayed you, you have every right to distance yourself from them. Protecting your peace is more important than keeping toxic relationships alive. At the end of the day, holding on to betrayal only prolongs your suffering. Letting go is an act of strength, not weakness. It is a declaration that you will not allow someone else's actions to steal your happiness. The past cannot be changed, but your future is in your hands. Walk away from resentment, embrace your inner peace, and move forward with wisdom and strength. True security in life does not come from trusting others blindly. It comes from trusting yourself. When you experience betrayal, it can shake your confidence and make you question your ability to judge people accurately. You may begin to doubt your instincts, wondering how you could have been so wrong about someone you trusted. But rather than letting betrayal weaken your faith in people, use it as a lesson to strengthen your trust in yourself. People are unpredictable. Even those closest to you can change, act selfishly, or let you down when you least expect it. The mistake many people make is placing their emotional security in the hands of others, assuming that someone will always be there for them, that loyalty is permanent, and that good intentions never waver. But the reality is that life does not work that way. People act in their own best interests, sometimes at the cost of others. The only person you can truly count on without fail is yourself. Self-reliance is not about isolating yourself or refusing to trust anyone. It is about developing an unshakable inner strength, so that no matter what happens, you remain in control of your emotions and your life. When you place too much trust in others, you give them the power to hurt you. But when you trust yourself first, your instincts, your ability to heal, and your resilience, betrayal loses its ability to break you. One of the most valuable skills you can develop is the ability to listen to your intuition. Often, when betrayal happens, people look back and realize that there were signs all along. Maybe there were small inconsistencies in the person's behavior, moments where something felt off but was ignored. Learning to trust yourself means paying attention to these gut feelings and acting on them, rather than brushing them aside. Your intuition is your greatest defense against being deceived. Another key aspect of self-trust is emotional independence. Many people tie their happiness to others, believing that their well-being depends on external relationships. But the strongest people understand that happiness comes from within. When you build a life that is fulfilling on your own terms, betrayal becomes less devastating. You know that no matter who stays or leaves, you will be okay because your foundation is built on self-worth, not the approval or loyalty of others. Trusting yourself also means setting boundaries. When someone betrays you, it is a sign that they do not respect you or your values. Self-trust gives you the confidence to walk away from those who do not deserve a place in your life. It means valuing yourself enough to say, I will not allow someone to treat me this way again. At the end of the day, betrayal is a painful reminder that people are flawed, but it is also an opportunity to grow. Instead of becoming bitter, use it as a chance to strengthen your trust in yourself. When you learn to rely on your own judgment, intuition, and strength, no betrayal can truly break you. Betrayal, no matter how painful, can be a powerful turning point in life. It reveals who truly belongs in your life and who does not. When someone betrays you, it is easy to focus on the pain, the loss, and the anger. But in reality, betrayal is a form of redirection. It removes the wrong people from your life so that you can make space for those who genuinely value and respect you. Rather than seeing betrayal as a devastating setback, see it as an opportunity to move forward with clarity and purpose. Often, we hold on to relationships longer than we should, ignoring signs that a person does not truly have our best interests at heart. We may overlook their inconsistencies, justify their actions, or give them endless chances because we want to believe in them. Betrayal forces us to confront the truth. It strips away illusions and exposes a person's true character. This is painful, but it is also a gift. It allows you to finally let go of relationships that were not meant to last and make room for those who truly deserve to be in your life. When someone betrays you, it is natural to ask, why did this happen to me? But a more powerful question is, what is this betrayal teaching me? Every betrayal comes with a lesson. Whether it is about choosing the right people, setting stronger boundaries, or valuing yourself enough to walk away from those who hurt you. If you shift your perspective from victimhood to empowerment, you will see betrayal not as something that broke you, but as something that freed you. Letting go of toxic relationships is not easy, especially when deep emotions are involved. But holding on to people who have betrayed you only delays your own growth and happiness. If someone has shown you that they do not respect your trust, believe them. Do not waste energy trying to change them or hoping they will become the person you thought they were. The sooner you accept the truth, the sooner you can move forward. Moving forward does not mean closing yourself off to new relationships or becoming bitter. It means learning from the past and choosing wisely. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, who prove their loyalty through actions, not just words. Betrayal teaches you the value of true friendships and relationships, the kind that stand the test of time and hardship. Most importantly, betrayal is a reminder that your worth is not determined by how others treat you. Just because someone failed to appreciate your loyalty does not mean you should stop being a loyal person. Just because someone deceived you does not mean you should stop trusting altogether. Instead, use the experience to become wiser, stronger, and more discerning. In the end, betrayal is not the end of your story, it is the beginning of a new chapter. It removes the wrong people and makes way for the right ones. It is painful, but it is also necessary. Embrace the lesson, let go of what no longer serves you, and move forward with strength and confidence.